Good afternoon, everybody. Hello, how are you? It's echoing?
Yeah, we're turning that down.
Okay. And we are getting started, I promise. Thanks for bearing with us. Get the ice cream truck to turn down. Oh, or do that too. Thank you for joining us. My name is Katie West. I'm the Director of Strategic Initiatives at the Housing Network of Rhode Island. And I'm thrilled to see all of you here today to celebrate the launch of Our Homes, Our Votes initiative. We are deeply committed to ensuring that everyone in our state has access to safe, healthy, affordable homes. And it's a core component of achieving that goal for us, empowering people to exercise their right to vote and ensuring that every eligible Rhode Islander can vote. And there's reduced barriers to being able to do that. We know that affordable housing is one of the most pressing issues facing our state and our country. And the decisions made at the polls directly impact the housing policies that shape our communities. I'd like to especially thank our partners at the National Low-Income Housing Coalition and our guest speaker, Diane Yentel, for her leadership in advancing the Our Homes, Our Votes initiative. This national campaign is doing critical work to close the voter turnout gap between renters and homeowners. And today we're here to bring that mission to life right in Rhode Island with our members and with the support of all of you here. We're also incredibly grateful to our Secretary of State, Greg Amore, for joining us and for your ongoing commitment to ensure that all eligible voters have access to be able to vote. And I also want to extend a huge thank you to West Elmwood Housing Development Corporation, Miss Candace and Georgina Sarpong, who will be speaking as a resident. Thank you for the amazing work that you're doing in the community, and thank you, Georgina, for being willing to share your perspective about the importance of voting with your neighbors in the community. We have a lot of work ahead of us, but together we can build political will for real housing solutions by making sure that everyone's voice is heard at the ballot box this November. And we're excited to get started, kick off this with a day of action. Please have some ice cream, please engage. And thank you for your commitment to the voters of Rhode Island and the community. I will now be pleased to welcome our Secretary of State, Greg Amore.
Good afternoon. I think I can project a microphone or not. It's an honor to be here because it's an honor to do this part of our job at the Department of State. We are proud to have the responsibility of making sure Rhode Islanders have easy access to the ballot and have all the tools they need in order to cast a vote. And what we like to say at the Department of State is make a plan to vote. Right? Be a voter, but make a plan to vote. And so our commitment to you and to every Rhode Islander is to make that process as easy as possible, to take down those barriers that Katie talked about, to make sure that Rhode Islanders are informed. So I often talk about John Lewis because he's one of my heroes. But the great John Lewis, who was a civil rights leader and then effective congressman for years, always said, democracy is an act, not a state. And it does not work unless we participate. And we means all of us. If Americans, if Rhode Islanders are not participating, then their voice is not heard. But we want to open up that process so that people are participating easily and they have the ability to do so. This democratic republic in which we all live is not guaranteed. But what is guaranteed is your voice can only be heard if you vote. That's a simple but true phrase. Your voice can only be heard if you vote. And as Katie pointed out correctly, we all have issues that we're concerned about. And housing is a nonpartisan, nationwide, state and community and neighborhood issue. So everyone on the ballot, from the top, the presidency, all the way through a town or city council member, and then ballot initiative questions connect to that issue. And that's the power of the vote. It's the power of the vote. So what are we here to do? We're here to thank the advocates, thank those that work in this field every single day to empower voters. And we're here to say that we are a partner. Our team at the Rhode Island Department of State is here to serve you. And so you can go to vote.rri.gov and get a whole host of information about voting and processes, or you can call us and we will come to you as well. And that's something that is not well known, but if you have a voter identification issue, you can call us and we will go to you. You can present the documentation to us and we can create a voter identification for you. These are services that we are proud to offer, and that makes Rhode Island one of the most accessible places for voting in America. And we're proud of that. We can always do better. And this is a way to reach folks who have something to say, but need a little push, a little help, a little aid in attacking that process. And so again, I'm honored to be asked to be here today. Thanks to Homes Rhode Island and the Housing Network and the advocates. Katie, Candace, it's always good to see you. It's our pleasure to be here. And again, we work on behalf of Rhode Islanders who want to make a plan to vote. So use us as a resource. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Secretary, to you and your awesome team. I will say I use your website every day. It's great, it's super helpful resources. And this year was the first year that I requested my mail ballot application online because it was going to be out. And it was super easy and quick, and really just appreciate the work you all are doing to make voting more accessible for all Rhode Islanders. Now I'm really pleased to welcome Diane Yentel, President and CEO of National Low Income Housing Coalition, to talk about the work that they're doing to advance voter engagement. Thanks, Diane.
Thank you. Hello, and thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. So at the National Low Income Housing Coalition, our work is all about getting the federal government to fund solutions at the scale necessary to get and keep people with the lowest incomes affordably housed. But for too long, the federal government has been failing to make the needed investments to secure stable, accessible, affordable homes for the lowest income people. And that's in large part due to low voter turnout among impacted people, which is something that you don't often hear about when you talk about affordable housing. Our nation's housing policies are skewed to benefit higher income homeowners and not low income renters who face the most severe housing challenges. And that's because voter turnout among lower income people is much lower than higher income people. Just as an example, in the 2022 midterms, the highest income people turned out to vote at twice the rate of people with the lowest incomes. And elected officials are much more likely to respond to the needs of people that are registered and get out to vote. So there are many barriers that exist that make voting more difficult for lower income renters. For example, renters move more frequently than homeowners, so they need to update their voter registration more often. And for this reason, renters are less likely to be registered to vote at their current address and less likely to cast their ballots. And the lowest income renters face systemic barriers to voting, including less flexible work schedules, limited transportation options, childcare needs, and in too many places, deliberate voter suppression. So we see the consequences of these disparities then in voting that play out at every level of government. We see Congress fail to invest in housing assistance at the scale needed. We see some state and local leaders that are listening to the loudest voices that are opposed to building more affordable housing and welcoming more people into their communities. But until lower income renters vote at similar levels as higher income homeowners, policymakers won't muster the political will needed to end housing poverty and homelessness. So the good news is that we can change this political calculus. And it starts with the work that we're doing here today nonpartisan registering and mobilizing low-income renters to vote. So this is why the National Low-Income Housing Coalition leads the Our Homes, Our Votes campaign. And Courtney Cooperman is recording right now, and she is our project manager for Our Homes, Our Votes. This is our nonpartisan initiative to boost voter turnout among low-income renters and elevate housing as an election issue. So this year, as part of the Our Homes, Our Votes pilot communities initiative, we're really proud to be partnering with Housing Network of Rhode Island and their housing provider members like West Elmwood, who recognize that nonpartisan civic engagement makes our communities stronger. So we have 6 weeks exactly until Election Day and much less time until the start of early voting here in Rhode Island. So now is the time to get involved. So I encourage you to visit ourhomes-ourvotes.org to learn more about the work that we're doing across the country to increase voter turnout among low-income renters. And if you're a renter, know that your vote matters. Voting is a powerful opportunity to make your voice heard and to shape the politics and the policies that affect your community. Together we can close the voter turnout gap and hold all elected officials accountable to prioritize housing justice. So thank you for being here, and thank you for your work and your partnership.
Thank you again, Diane and Courtney, for your work with the Our Homes, Our Votes initiative. This is our third cycle that we have been doing this initiative, Our Homes, Our Votes, but this is the first year that we've been doing door-to-door voter engagement, canvassing. We have some phone banking plans in the works. We're really excited, and we are working with our housing network, community developer partners, and affordable housing providers to help us reach low-income renters in 5 target communities, Providence being one of them. And when we put this out to our membership, West Elmwood and Candace immediately said, yes, we want to be involved, we want to support, how can we do that? They were the first organization that we did canvassing with, and we'll be doing that a couple more times before the election. And I just want to thank you for your partnership on this and the work that you all are doing in the community. Come on up, Candace, thank you.
Short people. Thank you all for being here today. As Courtney said, my name is Candace Harper, and I'm the Executive Director for West Elmwood Housing Development Corporation. We are so excited to have you here today. This means a lot to us. For those of you who may or may not be familiar, West Elmwood has been a leader in community development since the early 1970s, when I was born, 1971. And our mission is to bring opportunities to build a healthy, sustainable West End neighborhood by investing in and embracing resident empowerment to support the enhancement of our economic mobility and equity for our community. All that being said, our mission is aligned with the work of the Housing Network of Rhode Island and what you see here happening today with Our Homes, Our Vote campaign. And so it's important, I'm only gonna say a couple of quick things. We want all of our residents and members of the community at large, not just here in the 02907, but we want all of our residents especially to be informed, to be educated about the election process, and to be engaged. We know that this particular election, every election is important, but this one is critical. So we're really hoping to bring awareness and provide information so that everybody under our footprint can be participants. So thank you, Secretary. Thank you all for being here today. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Candace. And our last speaker, I want to welcome Georgina Sarpong, who's a resident here at West Elmwood. this work is not meaningful if we don't engage the people that we're hoping will show up and be more empowered than they have historically. And their voices need to be not just part of the discussion, but they need to be leading it as well. And so, to sort of get up and be an advocate or a spokesperson on behalf of your own experience and hoping to empower others to do that is one of the most impactful things I think folks can do. It's why I talk to people about voting and my experience. But thank you, Georgina, for participating today and coming up and talking to us about voting. We appreciate you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So, being a long-time resident here at West Elmwood, I found it very important to not only vote, but also get involved. And sometimes you feel discouraged to, placing a vote or getting involved because you don't think anything will change. But that is not the truth. Being a part of this community for just about a little over 10 years, with voting and being involved, I was able to be a part of so many different initiatives that West Elmwood actually have built throughout this community. Starting with Sankofa, the initiative there with the kitchen and the homes that was built, alongside it wasn't a part of West Elmwood, but again, the collaboration, Friends of Buckland Park, which we see that new beautiful field down the street. And all of that came through community engagement. So when you're thinking about voting, it's not just going down and placing your ballot or just registering. Those are the first steps. Those are the things you need to do. But why is it important? It's important because you get to influence policy. It's important because you are having an impact in your community. Now, regardless if you own a home or not, and you're thinking, well, my tax dollars may not go in certain places, that's not true. Now, if you sit in dormant and don't speak, then anybody can make a decision over you. Now, just imagine going, to your doctor's office or anywhere, and because you didn't, come and sign a piece of paper, they have control over what they want to do to you. These are all things that we would want to think about as living in the community. And I definitely have for the past 10 years, and I will continue to. And I live across the street, so for any resident that live in these partner buildings that have any questions about voting and why it's important and what, should they do, please don't hesitate to find me. I'll be willing to help out as well. I know there was a few years ago that we as residents had knocked on folks' doors, and we also sat with some of our elders who were not mobile to move around. So we are here. It is important, and I hope my little spiel helps motivate those to go out and vote.
Thank you, Georgina. I definitely feel motivated to vote and appreciate you being a peer support for folks in the community in this neighborhood. I'm going to wrap it up. The election is November 5th, and I hope that everybody not only walks out of here and gets some ice cream, but has a plan to vote in the upcoming general election. We're here to help you. There's Georgina's here, I'm here, Courtney's here, our staff, Nicole, Neva, Melina, we're here to help anybody with questions, or if you are part of an organization and you want resources for voter engagement, obviously the Secretary of State's office is an excellent resource. We also have some resources we can support you with as well. Thank you everybody for being here and your commitment. We know that this is an issue. Civic engagement and affordable housing are inextricably intertwined, and so this is why we're here. This is why we're doing this. I hope you all stay engaged And I invite you all to hang out and stay, but if you can't, carry forward the messages that you heard from folks today about the importance of engagement and how you can be an advocate. Thank you so much, everybody.